What's going on, boys and girls? What's up, world? Austin John Plays here, and today we're going to be taking a look at the 3 brand new Pokemon trailers. That's right, there was 3 of them. You probably didn't see all 3, so we're going to cover all 3. And we're going to do a deep analysis, a deep, thorough, penetrating analysis to all of these videos. First of all, this is the official Pokemon YouTube channel trailer. This dropped during the Direct, so a lot of people didn't see this. As soon as we start up, we open up to all of our starters, all 3 of them, and Pikachu. They're running around. Corviknight appearing as well. And you can see right here a green Alcremie. In my direct reaction, I thought this was a shiny Alcremie. However, as we're going to learn later, this is a different form / a multiple flavor of Alcremie. Moving from there, we go to a scene of encountering a wild Pokemon. This is the reveal of Cramorant. This is a water flying type, similar to Wingull and Pelipper. It has a unique ability called Gulp Missile. What Gulp Missile does is if the Pokemon uses Surf or Dive, after using that move, it's going to have a fish in its mouth. So here it is using Surf on a Sudowoodo confirmed, and we can see right here that it has a fishy in its mouth. This fish that's in its mouth, it doesn't look like any Pokemon that's previously announced or anything. However, funny enough, I'm actually going to be referencing this leak again. Back from May of 2019, more stuff has been confirmed. Nothing on here has actually been proven inaccurate, and as we can see down here, the Chinese Riddler told us about the giant pelican, and you'll see inside of its mouth we have a fish and a Pikachu. And in the text over here from the first leak, it says the best Pokemon so far is the blue seagull, who when it dives either gets a barracuda in its mouth or a Pikachu, which it launches at the enemy. You can notice that I did not highlight the word Pikachu there. As we can see here, it does have what looks like a barracuda in its mouth, but no Pikachu. This may be a mechanic that we figure out later, and they're not telling us now that there is, say for example, a 10% chance that Pikachu it's in its mouth. I'm just gonna call it a barracuda. When it has the barracuda in its mouth, when it gets attacked, it's going to use that as a counter. But it's part of an ability, so it doesn't take up your turn, which is nice. In theory, during the same turn, you do Surf on a Pokemon, and then it hits you, you're gonna hit it twice during that turn, which is pretty awesome. It's shooting like a missile, and that's pretty cool. Here we get a much more detailed shot on what the fish looks like, and if I had to guess, this is not a Pokemon, it's just a generic fish, which is weird because generic fishes don't exist in the Pokemon universe, except for, you know, during the anime where they messed that fact up. Maybe they wanted to be like, hey, this is a Pokemon being eaten by this pelican. Instead, it's just going to be this fish. In addition, a mechanic that we do not know is if it doesn't get attacked, maybe in a certain amount of time, does it consume the fish and regain health? That'd be neato. That was enough to bring the Sudowoodo down. Oh, because it's sturdy. And here we see our trainer throw out a second brand new Pokemon. Now this guy is called Poltegeist, as in poltergeist plus T, so Poltegeist. It is actually black tea that has become possessed and a ghost, and it's in a teapot because England and tea. That's why. Its ability is called Weak Armor, which is an ability that we've already had in the game. If a Pokemon gets hit with a physical move, its defense is dropped by 1 stage and its speed increases by 1 stage. As weird as Poltegeist looks, I'm actually really not mad at the design. I think it's really adorable how it decides to go out the mouth. A quick note here while talking about Poltegeist. Poltegeist is very likely the Pokemon that we saw at the Gigantamaxing trailer that came out on July 8th, when the chairman threw out a Pokeball, and for 1 to 2 frames, this right here could very well be Poltegeist coming out of the Pokeball. A lot of people thought this would be an elephant teapot sort of thing. However, I think at this point, it could just be Poltegeist. The next feature we're going to talk about is going camping with your Pokemon. Now, this is something that we saw teased, but it was never actually given a title and confirmed. We're actually brought back to the original scene of looking over the camp here. Here we see a close-up of Grookey as well as the other starters, and they seem quite happy, not gonna lie. Also, something really neat is, if you notice, this is a very panning sort of cinematic camera angle of just kind of looking around. I don't know if this is going to be when you're in the camp and the player isn't moving around, it just kind of, you know, gives you an idle animation of the camera looking around, or if you can be in first person and look around in some of these areas, which would be really neat. Or if this is just done for the trailer. After we get through with looking at the Galarian starters being all happy and stuff, we jump to a Vileplume. And there's a big old ball, and Vileplume seems enamored by this ball. We could also see now we have a regular Alcremie in the background. And Vileplume put the ball on its head and is returning to us. It is adorable. Here we have a Yamper. And Yamper seems to be quite enamored by this cat toy. That's what I'm gonna call it. It has a feather and a bell on it, and cats like to play with those. I've seen that my pet's smart, which is weird because using cat toy on a Yorkie. This is really neat where it says, visit another player's camp. Now, we could clearly see that the player is in a wild area, and there's a camp set up here. Despite the striking similarity to Fallout 76 and how well that game did recently, this raises more questions than it answers, and this is a series of questions that I've always had for the wild area, because we saw that other trainers can run up and enter a max raid battle with you. Now, how does that work? Are you going to be adventuring around in your wild area and your friends list is also going to be adventuring around, and if you're in the same wild area, do you appear next to each other? Or does it search all of your friends list, and only when you're in a similar vicinity to the player, a max raid battle, or a camp, do they actually appear? Is it open to strangers as well? Is it going to take random people and put it into that same idea? Or are there going to be instances? Like, is it going to be server based and you're going to have to join your friend's wild area? Like, you have to go out of your way to join it, or is it going to be built in and just part of that natural experience? I'm excited to see how that actually works out. Someone's going to point this out later. The tree does not look that much better. Looks slightly better, not that much better. Let's head into the camp over here. Hopefully you can customize your camp color. And there's a whole bunch of evolutions. 9 Pokemon here, all the evolutions and Eevee itself. I don't know what the limit is going to be as to how many Pokemon you're allowed to have in your camp. Also, how are these Pokemon chosen? There's more than 6, so it's not going to be your team. Is it you go through your boxes and you just choose specific Pokemon to appear in your camp, or is it kind of like having a battle box where you choose what Pokemon are going to be in that camp? This early morning video review session is sponsored by G Fuel, and by sponsored I mean I bought it with my money. They don't sponsor me. Green Alcremie. So there are over 20 variants of Alcremie, and what varies is its actual body color as well as the toppings on its head. The one that we've always seen is the pink one with the strawberries. However, it has an alternative pink one. It has like a pink and yellow, it has a green, it has a blue, a whole bunch of different toppings that it could have on its head. This one I'm going to catch myself, and I'm going to call it the Shamrock Shake because it's green and it has shamrocks on it. Those little 4-leaf clovers. I'm not too sure what type of fruit that's supposed to be, but okay. Also, let's get an infographic on my face. The Gigantamax Alcremie seems to have small elements of all different Alcremies appearing on it. And I'm interested in seeing what specific Alcremie can Gigantamax into that form. Because as we know, not all Pokemon of the same species can Gigantamax. Only this one specific Pokemon can Gigantamax, thanks to the almighty and powerful Space Chicken. Also, when viewing these videos, be sure to hit the like button to fight the no national Dexers. Moving on to the next scene here, we see 2 different Alcremies, and they have little hearts above their head. Now, this could infer one of 3 different things. 1, they could just be happy to see me, and we played with them recently, and they have little hearts of affection above their head because they like me. 2, they're happy to see another Pokemon in the camp, and because of that, they have little happy hearts. Or 3, which I think would be the most interesting, are you able to breed Pokemon at your camp? Instead of a ranch being there, are you going to be able to just have your Pokemon in your camp and they can have an egg? Is this, you know, their mating / breeding prerequisite? Food for thought. Also, later in the trailer, we do see a Ditto in the camp, so that even pushes me slightly closer to the idea of they're going to be able to breed. They seem to be shaking their heads in contemplation or no. Anyways, cook curry with up to 4 players. This seems like a very interesting concept where you get to take a whole bunch of various ingredients from the overworld, like sausage, which, just for reference, sausage is made out of meat products, and there's no animals, only Pokemon, so... Here we're back at the Evolution Camp, and we choose sausages. Just fried food. That's pretty generic. And there's also 10 berries selected. We then see all 10 berries being added to a pot with actually a fairly high detailed campfire underneath it. And then we see the sausages still in their packaging being put inside of the pot. I do recommend removing sausages from the plastic casing before adding them to a pot. You get to fan the flames, and this is done with 4 players, and as we can see at the bottom right, you can either do this by swinging your single right Joy-Con up and down, or by hitting the A button. And in addition to that, these fans seem kind of interesting. This kind of looks like sort of an Aztec-style drawing of a Magikarp wearing a crown. So, is this possibly a hint at a Galarian Magikarp, which would give us a Galarian Gyarados, which would be really neat, because we don't have Mega Gyarados anymore? Or is this my imagination going wild? After the fan the flames part, we see an area where you get to give it a good stirring, which can be done by rotating the right stick, the camera stick, or by taking your Joy-Con and moving it like this. And then you get to put your heart into it, which you throw it just like a Pokeball in Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee, or by pressing the A button. I'm going to be exclusively pressing the A button. From here, that's going to make curry. Pretty fiery curry if you ask me. Anyone who's had curry, they know what that looks like. That's when you go to the bathroom afterward. And boom! Spicy sausage curry. I know that this looks different in regular speed, but in quarter speed, this is like the most dramatic thing ever. And this is either Jolteon also consuming the food with, I'm going to admit, a very lazy eating animation because not even putting its head down to like consume food, or what I like to think is Jolteon is so hungry and just deeply staring at the trainer like, are you gonna eat that? Are you gonna eat that? Are you gonna eat that? Oh boy, I would like to eat that. Hey! I want some food! Please! That's how I like to imagine that playing out in my head. As you see in the top left, this sweet fried food curry is number 94. So I'm thinking that there are 100 or more curry dishes in this game. Why are there 100 different curry dishes? I don't know. What are they for? There's no official word yet. However, going back to the leak, camping is how you play with your Pokemon now. You'll get 2 toys, a feather toy, and a toy Pokeball, which can raise friendship. We've already seen the feather toy. The toy Pokeball is it's shown in a different trailer, or it's that giant beach ball. Playing can raise friendship, which is neat. You can make curry, which will raise starts and friendliness. I'm assuming that was supposed to be stats and friendliness. People wanted this game to be like Breath of the Wild, so they were like, okay, we'll make it like Breath of the Wild. You could cook food now. And because, you know, England's national dish is, I believe, tikka masala. Customize your look. We've known about this feature for a very long time, ever since the Uniqlo event that the person who made the, I believe it was a Gyarados shirt, got disqualified. However, there is a deep level of customizing here that we did not see in Sun, Moon, Ultra Sun, Ultra Moon. And the items that we're going to be able to customize include hats, gloves, glasses, hair, makeup, shirt, a full dress outfit, backpacks, coats, I wrote backpacks again, pants or a skirt, socks, and shoes. We also get a haircut option. It's so sad that this is something that I'm highlighting here, but when choosing to cut your hair, you get a preview of what it looks like, which we didn't in Sun and Moon, so you actually had to look up what the various haircuts look like, because they were like $4,000 to cut your hair, which was ridiculous. You also get to trim your eyebrows, which I think is pretty neat, and apply contact lenses to change your eye color. So there's a real deep level of customizing here. And if you choose a female character, there's also a variety of makeup that you can apply. Like, there's going to be a lot of people who are just really excited to go to this area. Very similar to the interface that we had for Sun, Moon, Ultra Moon. You get to choose your outfit, except now there's more options, and we could assume that there's going to be some very expensive outfit options, which, as you know, in doing the verse battles, you're going to see the people who are really grinding. or cheating. Collect league cards. This is a brand new mechanic that I think is super awesome. At some instances in the story, when you beat or meet another trainer, you're going to get their league card. So in this instance, this is right after a rival battle, after you defeated Hop, and he's going to give you his league card. The league card you can see in your actual inventory. On the pause screen, we see Hop, Leon, Gloria, and then some character named Sword, someone named Shield. Leon's number 1, of course. He's probably the one who founded it. Now, where you see Gloria, Sword, and Shield, that's actually really important because those are characters, and you're going to be able to make your own league card. And whenever you go into a verse battle, that's going to show up. We're going to see that moment here in a second. There's a variety of backgrounds, effects, and frames that you could put for your league card. In addition, your character is going to be able to be posed in a specific way. Different expressions on their face. Like, this is pretty awesome. I'm not gonna lie. You get to move the character around, zoom in on them, see that high resolution detail. When you go into a verse battle, instead of just a generic thing, you see the card, and everyone has a unique number, and I think that's really awesome. And that concludes the US trailer. There's nothing else in the US trailer. Moving on to the Japanese trailer. The Japanese trailer, as opposed to the US one, they cover a lot of the same content. There's a few hidden things, but they always express it in a different way. I wanted to pause on this outfit right here because this shirt looks like the shirt of the Ghost-type gym leader. Here is Alistair, and as you can see right there, it's a black shirt, purple collar, it has this kind of ghost icon right in the middle. That's the same exact shirt. So, do you unlock that after defeating her? Or is that something that you get as sort of like a thing that you unlock later in the game? That's pretty neat. Wow, that is a thigh gap and a half. Be nice if you could customize your height and weight. I would really like that. Because that's like the level of customizing that is not here, because, I mean, I get it, you're 11, everyone's the same exact size. That's not true. When I was 11, I was not the tall kid, and I was quite round. On the Japanese trailer, we get some views of some different trainer cards, which something I want to point out right here is we have Hop, and then we have Leon, and then it has that sort of glistening effect, as well as this one here. So my question is, are there foil cards? Can you have a holographic card? Because that'd be pretty awesome. And it looks like you're gonna be able to customize your card from your computer inside of any Pokemon Center. I know what my trainer card is gonna be. It's going to be me pointing at Space Chicken right behind me. Our Pelican is fighting Inkay. As opposed to doing Surf before, it did Dive, which was a pretty cool animation. Now we're getting into something that is completely absent from the US trailer, and this seems to be your interaction with other people. There seems to be camping, right below that we could see cooking, and below that we see trading. According to Joe Merrick, the guy who runs Cerebeat.net, when asked, in the Japanese trailer, they are showing something about trading. Was it Wonder Trading? He replied, yes, but it's the new surprise trading feature. What's the difference from Wonder Trading, or is it just a new name? Joe says, it's more passive. You can set Pokemon Trade and then go about your business and you'll get a notification when the trade is done. That's pretty neat. It sounds similar to combining Wonder Trade and GTS, that you just put a Pokemon in there and whenever that Pokemon is traded, you get a new one. So here we could assume, I don't read Japanese, so if anyone does, and you could translate that to let me know if I was wrong, it was you deciding to let that Pokemon go. You see the animation in the bottom left for a trading icon, and apparently the character is trading with Gloria, and it just kind of pops up and notifies you, which is pretty neat. And then I assume they just did that to show us that it's being traded, but that's not actually going to pop up on screen. Here we can see a Ditto in the background. In the background we have a whole bunch of spooky Pokemon in front of a purple tent. You can hear that. We did see a different animation and the sort of, I guess, star color that appears in the trainer's eyes. We could see that different dishes resonate better with different Pokemon. either determined by their type or more likely their actual nature. And the third and final trailer brings us to the Nintendo Direct that we all saw live yesterday. Thank you everybody who came through the live stream and checked it out with me. Doesn't have a lot to talk about, however, here on this screen, we're gonna do a digital zoom in of the top right corner, and we can see these very strange two figures here. We see a trainer at the bottom left, so we know that this area is starting to be populated, but at the top right, what are those? They're really weird looking spiky things. Playing here at 25% speed, it doesn't look like that they move at any point, so it is possible that they're statues. However, that's a really bad place to have statues, so I'm starting to think that's a new Pokemon that we haven't seen. Actually, other than that, there's not too much else in the Nintendo Direct that is not covered in the other two videos that we took a look at. So I'm kinda skip it because it's just the same information regurgitated. So there we go, guys. That is everything that you have missed in the 3 trailers for Pokemon Sword and Shield coming out for the Nintendo Switch. From the Direct and the Japanese trailer and the English trailer. Is there something I missed? Leave a comment down below. If you're new to the channel, be sure to subscribe, turn on notifications. We're still doing a giveaway for a Nintendo Switch and a copy of Pokemon Sword and Shield every 50,000 subscribers to the channel, so be sure to check the link down below. Until next time, Austin John out.